This is the first time I realized that I could actually go live. I finally have enough subscribers where I could go live, and I'm very excited. So, welcome to my random evening live, giving this a shot, seeing how this goes. I wanted to say a quick little thing that has been on my mind and something that I've realized. And this is something that will really help your family relationships and just bring an understanding to the table. So, real quick 3 to 5 minute thing. One, I know I've talked about this before. I don't know if I've talked about it on YouTube, but when when young girls between the age of like 9 to 12 until they get their period, they start having hormonal changes. And especially if you're a mom and your daughter, when you have your period and your hormonal changes are going to coincide with hers. Hers are going to start to coincide with yours. And you're going to bump heads, so to speak. And I want you to make that connection for them and for you. It's very important because they're going to have moments where they're just like, they have outbursts, and maybe you're having outbursts, and you need to realize, what's the date? Is my period coming? Oh my goodness. And then you need to hug it out and let your daughter know, hey, you must be feeling frustrated and you don't know why. I'm feeling frustrated and I don't know why. I think my period's coming and we're matching. I do this with my own daughter and it helps her so much. It helps me so much. And we hug it out and we laugh and we're like, okay, we're having a normal moment here. And that calms us down. That helps us to like, okay. And something to tell your daughters too is like, just because you're feeling that annoyance, anger, or whatever emotion that comes up because you're going through these changes doesn't mean you need to act out on them. This is the time to take a pause before you open your mouth or you start wailing on your siblings or whatever, or getting mad at the world for whatever. Take a breath. So, making that connection really, really helps. And it helps improve your relationships so you don't feel like you are always butting heads. And if you make that connection for yourself, it helps you to understand her better. And the compassion and understanding you have for each other can calm the things down. So that's that. Now, as for young men are a little bit easier, I feel. I have two teenage boys and they are the absolute best. But each one of them went through a season between the age of like, it can be anywhere between the age of, I want to say, it started with my boys more around 11, but it really started to show when they got to be about like 13 or whatever. um, they started going through a growth spurt and wanted to sleep all the time. It was hard for them to get up. It was just like, and my oldest, he just like was sleeping all the time. And of course, I didn't know back then, so I was thinking, oh, he's lazy, right? That's not fair. That's not right. No, boys are growing and they grow fast, and so they need that extra sleep during that time. So give them some grace. They're not being lazy. I had a cousin or a relative that my mother shared a story with, that where he was going through a growth spurt and his father needed him to work on this project with him, but he was like moving so slowly and not doing so well. And his father's like, "Oh, you're worthless," because he didn't understand that his boy was growing. And then my dear grandmother's like, "You just wait. He's just going through a growth spurt, and when he's over it, he will be your best worker." And she was right. So we need to make those connections for our boys too, and just like, hey, you're okay. You're going through a normal time, normal growth spurt. And so you don't need to think that they're lazy or anything. Just understand, and making those connections for your boys and for yourself helps everybody not like, hey, get up and start arguments where there doesn't need to be one and cause extra stress. These kids need this time. They're going through that transition from kid to becoming a teenager, an adult, and we need to give them a lot of grace, and you'll have a lot better time with them when you do, and they'll be much better teenagers. Because I always hear like teenagers are so hard. They're hard. They're really not. Anyway, my son's coming. You all have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me. Would love to answer questions at some point. I'll do another live. Take care. We'll talk to you later.